Hi, I'm King, and I'm doing this intro all over again because I didn't have my microphone on. Welcome. This is Frankly K, where awareness and clarity meets power. I do financial literacy videos, as you're watching right now, journal with me's, vlogs, and book reviews, and I have a new segment that would fall more under vlogs, but it's titled Midnight Pulp Party, and it's basically all the different things that I'm doing. They're hyper focused videos, so you'll see like my clothing videos are under there, and like any kind of decor or home stuff or things that's not like lifestyle, showing like what I'm up to kind of vlog that's between the pages. And then there's the hyper focused things where it's like trying to build my dream closet or redoing my kitchen aesthetically. Like that's coming up actually, because I am so tired of that tired ass kitchen. Let's get into it. But first, you should subscribe and leave a like and leave a comment. There's a lot of tasks for you to do today. Let me calm down. Pick one of the three, right? And help me out. Okay, if you are so inclined, I'd appreciate it. Thank you very much. If you don't know what to comment but want to leave a comment, just say comment. Today's video is about venture capitals again, because I realized I was talking about venture capitals and I felt like more information needs to be given about venture capitals. We already discussed what a venture capital is. If you didn't watch that video, it's under the, which video was that? Well, I'll link it here in that card above. Long story short, venture capital is a place where businesses go get funding. Long story short, okay? It's different investors come together at a firm and put their money towards the businesses they choose to. Like I gave the perfect example of Shark Tank. Shark Tank is a good example of a venture capital fund. In investing, though, there's a series of different types of investment funds. So these venture capital funds often have a goal. So the one I wanted to talk about later is actually a pre-seed or a seed fund. And what that means is that exactly what it sounds like. So pre-seed or a seed fund is something that's going to get the business started. So pre-seed is usually like the founder themselves, or maybe your grandma that believes in you, you know what I mean? And like that's who gave you the money, and you go buy your, software so that you can start your business. Seed funds are something that help you start to actually grow your business and operate within your plans. And so those kinds of venture capital funds, they focus on startups that are just starting. I don't know where I was going with that explanation. They focus on startups because the startups are who would obviously need, seeding. And the seeding is basically these investors that come together to give you money to actually make your business a real business and not just an idea. You can start to actually implement plans with this seed money. But then you have some who are a seed fund, Series A fund, or a Series B or a Series C fund kind of venture capital. And so that ABC tier is something, they all come after the seed part. And what the Series A starts with is that high risk, because the business is established not in reputation or revenue or resources. Ooh, 3 R's. Yeah, think about it that way. It's not yet, like, businesses grow in stages, just like a person, just like anything grows. And so this Series A starts with, you're like a little infant baby. It's the one that is the highest risk for investors to invest in, besides the seed, because the seed is like, we believe in your dream, go. In each of these stages, you get a different set of priorities. A seed is get it started. Series A is you've started. Now we need to talk about what your plan is going to be and how we're going to get our investment back. In Series A, you're looking long term. You're looking at vision. You're looking at innovation. Like Series A is beyond, we believe in this. It's okay, we believed in it, or somebody believed in it, but now in Series A, you're looking for people who you have to first, they always say you find an anchor, right? And basically that's the person that's gonna hold down, like basically they're putting their reputation on the line for your business. I don't know how else to explain that. I feel like that's my personal explanation, because when you get that anchor investor, basically they kind of serve as your foothold in the marketplace of investors. Like you're like, look, we got this person, you guys all know this investor, or, it doesn't have to be a person. It can be like a whole other business or whatever, but like you all know this investor. They're reputable and they've got a great, eye for things, and they've picked us. And that's how you can secure more investors. It's more about getting the investors that are beyond just, yeah, that looks like a good idea, I'll give some money to it. So we're looking for plans. We're looking for innovation. We're looking for businesses with vision. That's Series A. And I think, in my personal opinion, it might be the hardest round, and a lot of times they get equity stake. And I believe seed companies also get equity stake because, they're the ones that, put you in the ground. It's like everyone takes equity. So how many rounds you do, it eats away. If you're the entrepreneur, it eats away at your own equity of your company. So when you're doing venture capital, it's great. Each series is really important and helpful depending on what your business mission is and what your goals are, what your long-term goals are. But it is something to keep in mind that your ownership dwindles every time you do one of these rounds. Okay. So depending on how many investors you acquire, accept, blah, blah, blah. These are all things you'll be privy to, but you should pay attention and know that going in, that you're not going to keep all the equity to yourself. People have given you lots of money and they're expecting a stake in the ownership, not just like the return on their investment. They want continuous returns through ownership. If you continue, you'll be going into Series B. After Series A, where somebody was like, you've got a great strategy, let's do this, you have Series B, where you're looking to, a Series B venture capital fund would help you look into investors that will help you grow your market. However, in order to be qualified for a Series B, because of what a Series B fund is, the qualifications are more like you're an established business with a, consistent user base, whatever you are. Your user base is consistent. You've proven that you can handle expansion. Like you might not have expanded yet. That's why you're doing this Series B funding. But it's like you can they've seen your plan and your strategy from Series A. And so they've seen you actually implementing that plan. By the time you get to Series B, you are up, you are running. You are now at the point where you want to expand in the market. So you're going to need more money to do that, obviously. And a Series B kind of focused venture capital fund would help you find investors that are all about expansion, all about seeing that you already have an established business that can do the work, that implements the plans, that has the strategies up and running, and you just asking for the money to do the growth. That's what a Series B is going to be for. That one, I feel like, is the shortest explanation because it's really just about growth in the marketplace. Like you're really telling people like, look, we're here, we're ready to do this, we've done this, we just trying to do it bigger. That's Series B. And a lot of the times it's for companies who, like I said, are already established and have a consistent user base, and they're noticing that they're at a capacity that is underserving their demand. And so they're going into a Series B funding round because they're like, we need capital so that we can meet this demand that has been growing for us. So at that point, companies see growth. They want to see growth when they're coming to meet you for an investment. That way they know they're not investing in a expansion that nobody asked for. And then you have Series C. And Series B and C are both, I would say, much later in the process. Like the amount of years would differ depending on the market, depending on your company, depending on what it is that you actually do, what you're bringing to your market. And so Series pre-seed and Series A, are closer together than A is to B. Okay, so Series A funding and seed and pre-seed funding, they're kind of in your developmental stages, but Series A is after it's been developed and you're really like trying to, you want to put your feet on the ground in the market. You're trying to get your foot in the door. So that's why they're closer together, but they're not the same. And then A and B are far apart because it depends on what you do and how your business grows, how far apart A and B will come. Because, B is for the growth and meeting a demand that has been caused by your product or by your service. A was for, getting up and running to showcase that product or service. And seed is so that you can put it together so you can start to develop the product. Okay, so think about it in stages of the life of a plant. Series A, I don't know any plant terminology, so I can't even go any further with that. But if you do, leave it down below. So then you have Series A and B, which will be further apart, and then B and C, which might be closer together than A and B would, but still further apart than maybe literally anything else. And they are later stage. B and C are later stage things, given the nature of what they are. I've already explained Series B. Series C is all about, you're an established company, and at this point, you want to develop something new, or you want to make a new service. You want to add on services, to your whatever, your technology, your app or something. And because of what we're doing, I'll just stick to, because what I want to talk about, we'll stick to like a tech app. So you want to add more services to your app, or you want to add a new app, or you have a very similar competitor that isn't doing too well, but they're doing well enough to be a competitor, but you could possibly buy them out. That's something you could also do with Series C funding. You can kind of eat up your competition, but depending on your country, you can't eat up all your competition, because they're like, in the United States, there's a clause about being a conglomerate or a monopoly or something like that. That's why they had to break up IBM. And honestly, I don't know why Meta isn't being challenged with this thing, because I feel like they're eating up too much stuff, but whatever. There used to be a law, and I think I'm gonna look it up and see if it still exists and put it here. So there's that. But yeah, besides that, Series C funding can help you acquire other businesses that are similar to yours and let them operate under you. Like, you have to be obviously super established in order to be acquiring another business. But yeah, that's what the seed funding is for. You want to expand into a new market. Maybe you want to open up in another country. You're like, listen, people, we've been getting a lot of hits on our website. We've been getting a lot of hits on our website for the Congo. So we want to expand into Central Africa, right? We want to go to the Congo. We want to go to Cameroon. We want to go to Angola. Is that still center? Is that central? There used to be ECOWAS. There used to be a central conglomerate for Africa. ECOWAS, that's the west part. And then the central part used to be a conglomerate. And technically it had some people a little up and a little down. And I felt like the central collection, they were really just a powerhouse. And right now they're doing a lot of tech. So what was it called? It was like ECOWAS, and hold on. I'll also put that here. I'll put their name here. Not besides the point, because we'll come to that. So you'll be something like, you want to go and expand into Angola and Cameroon and the Congo. And you're like, yeah, well, we're going to need some funding in order to get all the way over to Africa. Say you're like a US based or a European based or an Asian based company, and you want to expand into Central Africa. That's what I mean by that. That's Series C. So as you can see, there's all these different stages, and different firms actually specialize in different stages. I'm not entirely sure if there's one firm that does it all, I'll look into it and probably put it in the description box. But yes, so that moves us into the story that I want. It's not a story. It's just like a hot take, a hot No, not a take, because there's no opinion. It's a hot tip. Again, I am not a certified financial planner or a certified investor. I am someone with years in the banking industry and doing my own financial research, and I'm studying to I'm studying to become a financial planner certified, but I am not yet a certified planner. And so when I say this, take it with the liability that it ensues. Take it with the liability that it incurs. I personally think that tech has always been something that is still innovating all around the world. And one of the places that I feel has the brightest future in tech, because of all the different angles that they're taking to approach it, is Africa. And especially places like Nigeria are already known as a tech hub. Like my older cousin, he works in tech. He's worked in tech for a long time, even though he has a PhD, I think, in something completely different. But he's worked in tech for a really long time. And at one point, he was living in Nigeria. I think he was in Abuja, even though like most people consider Lagos the tech capital. But Abuja is another really big city in Nigeria. And they are a place, it's like a tech hub. It's another tech hub. There's another tech hub growing, and it's in Douala, Cameroon, I personally feel. And I feel like this is something you need to look at. You can just pick a country. Pick any country in the southern part of Africa. And actually, it's not even really, like everyone says sub-Saharan, right? Because it's below the Sahara. It's not below the Sahara. Like my younger sister said before, if it was sub-Saharan, it would be under the desert. You would be underground. All right. So language is sub-Saharan because they're trying to diminish that part of Africa, because they don't call it above Saharan Africa. They just be like North Africa, and everyone just assumes whatever. My take is that if you're looking for investments in tech that you want to get in on the ground floor, or you just want to be part of maybe like a Series A, if you have that kind of money, I don't know, depending on what's going on, if you want to invest, if you're looking to gather some people to invest in something, look towards tech. Tech is always going to be important, just given our history. Tech consistently is a consistent growth potential. And so I feel like Africa is a good place to look towards tech if you're looking to invest. A lot of people want to invest in different companies around the world, and especially in Africa. And I think tech is always a great bet. Like they have a lot of different service apps that are coming out, especially for marketplaces, things that fit the different cultures that are there. So there's all this diversity on that continent. And so with diversity comes different things, like innovative things to service those different differences. That's the best way I can put it. But that's why there's so many good ideas coming out of there. And it's because you've got all these different lifestyles, all these different types of people with different backgrounds and different cultures. And they're in these spaces where they're able to see something that needs a solution and then create it with tech. And so I think that's really great. There's a very popular venture capital fund right now out of Paris, and it's called Briga, and they're breaching into African countries. I think they're starting in Nigeria and South Africa. But there's other startups that I will also list below because I can't remember all their names, but I had just read an article about Briga. And then on top of that, more investment wise, I also wanted to talk about things that might be more accessible to you, because you might not be able to get into a venture capital fund because maybe you don't have like thousands of dollars. I don't know how much they ask for entry. You'd have to look that up depending on the firm. But there's two companies that I had came across on Instagram that are basically crowdsourcing, kind of, but basically you sign up to be part of the crowd that will support these ventures. I'm gonna leave you with those two names because they might be, the bar to entry might be a little more approachable than a venture capital fund. and I'll put it right there. So this is Join Kwanda, diasporans coming together to fund social impact across Africa and the Caribbean. So that is, to me, really exciting. They have a bunch of little flags here. Oh, it says plus more. They've got Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, Jamaica. Don't know that flag. That might be Rwanda. I don't know. And the Congo. Financial transparency is essential for a healthy, open community. So here's our current financial data. Monthly income, $7,158 a month. Cash in the bank, $1,420 a month. Number of active donors, 636. So you will not be alone. There's a good number of people there. When I am able to join like programs again and start investing again, I have to put my investments on hold right now because of my money situation that I think I've talked about earlier in this channel. And so I'm just doing minimal saving right now. Trying to get like all my stuff current after I like was in the hospital, had surgery, blah blah blah. So I've paused investing like projects until I'm able to like have a certain amount in my savings and like all my check balances feel comfortable to me. So then I will be able to invest again. And so I use things like L-Vest, but then I was like, that's for women-led initiatives and stuff, investing in a lot of women-led initiatives and companies, and that's why it's called L-Vest. And I wanted to join something that prioritized people of color, and this one was great because it's diasporan, so I definitely wanted to like expand outside of America. So I'll put that picture here as well. And it's our website, donate to Kwanda, the Kwanda Party. Oh, I missed the Kwanda Party. Hurricane Barrel Resources and Hurricane Barrel Fundraiser. Hurricane Barrel is right now hitting the southeastern seaboard and the Caribbean. It's hurricane season, I suppose. And it's devastating, people. And then the other one, gosh, I follow so many good things. I'm looking at some of the companies. I literally follow companies on Instagram as well, just to remind me to buy stuff from them. And I can't wait until I'm able to really spend money, because Bossy Pants Candle, they're 100% soy candles, small batch, and they have a thing here called brown sugar oat milk espresso. And I'm just like, what? Citrus got real. Sometimes I wet my plants. That's funny. So the next one is Nala Money. This one isn't crowdsourcing. This is just a money app, and it's a money transfer service. Let me read you what it says in the Apple download place. Apple Store? Okay. Welcome to the money transfer service your loved ones deserve. Born in Africa, built for you. Send money from Europe, the UK, and the US to Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, Rwanda, Nigeria, Senegal, Cameroon, and Cote d'Ivoire. I think this is a good spread of countries, really. From Kenya to Cote d'Ivoire, like that's a good regional spread. Like you've got a little bit of everything here, except like the extreme north, like, I don't know, Morocco or something. Libya, Algeria, one of those African countries, but whatever. Anyway, I like that Cameroon's on this list. So the article I was reading, there's this person on TechCrunch. That's who I read the article about VCs, about VC Briga. And he called Cameroon a francophone country. And I just wanted to clarify that it's not strictly a francophone country. There is a majority francophone presence, but there is a substantial and important Anglophone community. And I also find it annoying that we have to classify ourselves by the language, because it's not even the culture. But if we're grouping things politically, that is what I feel like these language groupings in Cameroon anyway are for, because it's a political thing. That would also explain the civil unrest that's taking place in the Anglophone part of the country. There's some civil unrest, and it's been for a while, because of this whole Francophone, Anglophone thing. But yeah, it's not a Francophone country. It is a predominantly Francophone country, because it's like 3/4. They want to say 3/4 of the country, but I would say more like 3/5, and then 2/5 are Anglophone. But that's my personal outside opinion. Not super outside because that's where I'm from, but there's Nala money. You can compare rates, compare the latest rates in the app before you send the money. Because I know a lot of you got to send money back home, right? And I feel like this app, I'm actually going to show my dad and then see how he feels. And then I'm going to tell my cousin, because she is in the Netherlands. Denmark? She's in one of those places. Is the Netherlands includes Denmark, doesn't it? Or is it its own country? I don't know. Anyway, buy goods and pay bills with Nala. You can now lipa and pesa and pay bills in Kenya directly from your app. So Kenya, you can pay bills right in the app. I feel like I wish that's only available to Kenya. Damn. I'm sure they'll expand what they're going to do. Send money in seconds, 95 transactions, pay out instantly to all major mobile money wallets. See, we keep it simple, no hidden fees, just great rates you can trust. So there's probably like, obviously like MoneyGram or Western Union, you have certain rates depending on the money that you're sending. But then there's also sometimes an extra rate that people play when they're doing apps and stuff. So that could be a good thing. And I think it's really cool. It's in English and in French. So that was interesting. I just wanted to talk about those two money things and this money topic in general. It's really about VCs, but it led me into the VC tech. Like I said, I will name all the different venture capital funds that have been investing in African tech below. I will show you the article that I got it from, because he's really good at keeping up to date with seed and startup funds. And then obviously he does other venture capital stuff, but I see a lot of seed and startup news from this writer. And so I'm going to leave a link to their articles below if you want to keep abreast on those kinds of things. Okay. I don't know why I get so excited talking about this stuff. Thank you for your continued patronage. It supports me just by you being here, and it supports my mission to give people more access to more information so they can make better informed decisions for themselves. Like I always say, I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just here to put the information in front of you so you can decide what you're going to do. See you next time, party people. Don't forget to subscribe. Goodbye.